Hi guys, my name is David Ford, and this video is to talk about why I chose to live in my van. There's going to be different reasons for different people, of course, because not everybody's the same, but my reasons still are pretty much along the lines of a lot of other people's reasons as well that are also doing the same thing, and that is to have freedom. And one of the things that you can have freedom from is from paying rent and paying mortgage and things like that. So it gives you more peace of mind by not having to be paying rent and actually being able to save some money. Now, at this particular time, I'm not actually working. I am working on actually getting a job. So that actually is a different factor in this issue that I'm talking about, but that actually is going to be changing pretty soon because I should be able to get one going pretty soon. But my goal is, as far as living in my van, to work for 2-3 years. The first year though, working and saving up some money for my job, I want to go ahead and actually pay off some bills. I want to try to pay some bills and save some money by doing that the first year. That's my plan for the first year as far as working and living in my van. So being able to pay off some bills should be pretty easy to do once I start getting a regular job going and start working on a full-time job again. Now it's the first year. Now the second year, my plan is to still be working and save up some money and start being able to save money toward actually getting a house. And by doing that, what I want to do actually is I want to work on getting either a duplex or a double as far as rental property goes. And that way I can live in one side and rent out the other side. Now, if you think about it, it does actually kind of sound ironic, I guess, as far as not wanting to rent a place right now and actually staying in my van and not paying rent, and then yet later on I'm going to be working on actually getting a place and working on renting the place out. So yeah, it sounds kind of ironic, but still it's a business, and that's what I want to be working toward. I want to be working toward having a business of my own later down the line. And the way I figure, especially when I get a regular full-time job going, even if it's just a decent paying job, nothing real special, it shouldn't take real long to actually be able to save up some money and get that set up though. To be able to save up some money and work for about a year and maybe even work for about 2 years at the most. So the way I figure, in about 3 years time or less, then I should be able to have all this put in place as far as what I want to do. And so in other words, it's not very long of a period of time compared to people that go out there, they get a job, and then they go out there and get themselves a mortgage, and they have a mortgage for about 25, 30 years on average. So after about 30 years, they finally do pay the place off, and then yeah, I mean they got a house after that time, but after 30 years of doing that, that's a very long time. That's 30 years of your life is huge, especially when you figure that we don't live forever. I mean, it might be a different story if we all lived to be like 400 years old, then it probably wouldn't be such an issue at all. But nowadays you're lucky to be able to make it to like 70 to 80 years old. You're doing pretty good if you do that. So to be paying for a place for 30 years straight, that's not a very good ideal. So in my opinion, anyways, and especially when you can get places especially in fact even here in Dayton where I'm actually staying at in this area, there's houses around here for $10,000 or less. Some of them even less than that for sure. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of these houses I'm talking about does need to be fixed up, but I mean, it's something that can easily be done, and especially when if you're able to save up some money from not paying rent and mortgage, I mean, it's nothing that's going to be hard to do. So, I mean, it's like 6 months to another year if need be, as far as getting all the money that you need to get together to go ahead and get that paid off. So, yeah, it may sound crazy for some people. In fact, I have family members that think I'm actually crazy for sure for wanting to do it. They think I'm just straight, not necessarily a nutcase, but they just, straight up think it's a crazy idea to want to stay in my van and to do this that I'm talking about doing. But I think it's kind of crazy too, to where some of my family members is also struggling big time too. I mean, they're working a job and they're trying to save up money and be like the Joneses, trying to get the nice furniture and trying to have a real nice car and stuff like that. But they're having to work their butt off to do it. Working major overtime. They're hoping and praying that they can get some good tax money going and trying to use that as well as far as trying to pay off bills and stuff. But it's not necessary because they're getting themselves a whole lot of headaches, a whole lot of stress, and I'm seeing it too. I have seen it firsthand, for sure, where one of my family members, I won't even say which one, but one of my family members is stressed out big time. She is all the time stressed out. She is all the time worried about paying bills and what bills she's going to pay next and in what order and so forth. And she's if you think about it too, by doing that to yourself, you're also making yourself grow old even faster too. If you really think about it, because you're going to get gray hairs even faster, and your body is going to be, you know, getting itself run down even faster and so forth by having all that stress. So it's really not, it's not necessary. There is other ways of getting things done, and it's just a matter of being a little bit more creative and learning how to cut back on things too. So I mean, it's just it's all in the individual, of course. Like I said, I mean, not everybody's the same. There's different things that's going to make different people happy, and if that's something that makes you happy, then so be it. But also at the same time, she is stressed out. So it's like, how happy can you be if you're so stressed out all the time and running your body down, to the ground from having a life, trying to have a life like that. In fact, not even that, she's paying rent too, for that matter. She's not even buying a house. She's just paying rent, which is even worse if you think about it, because that's money being thrown away. And yeah, like I said, I mean, that's my goal to have, rental property to rent it out to somebody else, but, that's me on a different aspect of this. I never again want to be paying rent. That's how I see it. I never again, because I've done it before. I paid rent, for many years. I've never had a mortgage as far as trying to buy a house, but I've definitely paid rent for many, many years. So I've been there and done that when it comes to being stressed out too, and know what it feels like as far as, having to try to pay the bills and pay the electricity and everything else. And that's another thing too. The electric companies and water companies, all that, you got to pay them bills too, and they make enough money, man. Them people make money hand over fist. So why would you want to keep on giving your money to them? And not even just that, but later down the line too, when I do get a house, one of the things I want to try to do is also have solar panels and get that set up as well. Now, I'm not saying I'm necessarily going to be able to be all the way off the grid, because I don't know. I mean, I'll just have to see, I guess, when it comes to that point. But it's something I am definitely going to be working toward, that's for sure. Because, the way I see it is, if I can keep, if I can keep most of that money in my pocket instead of paying it to the power companies, then that's definitely what I'm going to be trying to do, for sure. Because there's no need for it. You think about like a solar panel, especially if you get the right kind, they can last 25 years. So 25 years is a very long time to have to be paying the power companies when you could be keeping that money in your pocket. And at first, it might be a little bit of an investment. You are going to have to put a little bit of money into it at first, but over time, it definitely pays off. And over time, it's going to pay off for sure, because you're going to save yourself a whole lot of money for sure over time. So that's something you want to keep in mind too. Even if you already have a house right now and you own your house already as well, go ahead and think about that aspect as well, thinking about solar panels and maybe even wind turbines and so forth, to think about getting yourself off the grid as well and saving yourself some money. Because why pay them if you don't have to? Why not keep that money in your pocket? That's how I see it, as common sense. Now, as far as what first got me into the ideal of wanting to live in my van, is that I actually was living with I had a girlfriend, and she had 2 kids, and we was together for about a year. Turns out she was into drugs and things that I was not into, and I, to be honest, was dumb enough at first to not realize all that. And I was dumb enough to still try to see if I can make things work with her. And so, I mean, if you've been in my situations before, then you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I was dumb as far as trying to see if I could still make things work. So I did admit that. But it didn't work out, of course. And so when she moved out, I went ahead and moved out as well, because I was not going to keep on paying around $600 a month just to be there by myself. Plus, the lease was almost up anyways. So I was not going to stay there, and I was going to have to end up going to the shelters, where it was what was going to happen at that time. But I was still staying there for the rest of that month, because that month was already paid for anyways, for sure. So I figured I might as well just go ahead and stay there anyways, so it's already paid for it. And in the meantime, I was going to places like McDonald's, putting in applications too, to still try to work on getting a job as well, because at the time I didn't have a job. So I was working on getting a job going. And one of the times I was there at McDonald's, I did also just, at a different time, go ahead and just start watching some videos on YouTube. And I can't remember what video I was watching at that time, but when you see a video, of course, you're going to have videos over on the side too that are suggestive videos. They suggest what you should be able to watch next. And I seen a video saying something about stealth camping, something to that effect. Stealth campervan camping or whatever. And so I went ahead and watched it. And after seeing that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you know what? There's no reason why I can't do that too. And it's like, why didn't I think about that even sooner? If I would have thought about that years ago, then even right now, I would have already had a house, for that matter. It's how I, at that time anyways, when I first seen that video, is how I seen that. It's what came to my mind. It's like, man, I wish I would have thought about that earlier, because there's no reason why I can't do that. I mean, it's not the easiest life in the world, don't get me wrong, but it's something I can definitely do, for sure. And I can't remember either, to tell you the truth, which channel it was. It was either one of two. It was either Chris Penn, which is Chris Travels, is what he changed his name to now as far as his YouTube channel, or it was Chad from Living the Van Life. It was one of those two that I watched. That first, this was the very first video I watched. And it was the very first one that really gave me that type of ideal, as far as the fact that I can do the same thing. It's like I said, it was also frustrating so much too at the same time. The fact that, it's like, man, why didn't I think about that sooner? If I would have thought about that earlier, years ago, I would have already been done that, for sure. I would have already made that type of move a long time ago if I would have known about it. But, it's just one of those things that, you live and you learn. It's one of those things where, I know about it now, so now I'm just working toward my goals, and now it's something I can definitely do. And that's the thing, is it makes it so much easier now, because, like I said, I don't have a job right now, but I will have one real soon. And when I do get one, then it's not going to take long at all. I mean, you can easily do the math on that. Paying $400 or $500 a month for rent, at least, if not more, depending on what area you're at. Plus, then you got your power, which is going to be $50 to $100 a month. You might have to also pay for your water as well too, and then maybe even your Wi-Fi and stuff too, if you want to have internet, or not Wi-Fi, but if internet itself anyways, if you want to have internet as well, you got to pay for that too. So when you factor all those in, it adds up pretty quick. And so when you figure you're paying maybe what, $600 or $700 a month easily, compared to not paying nothing, compared to not paying any rent at all, then yeah, that adds up. So you figure at least $600 a month times, I don't know, even 10 months, that's $6,000 right there, just for 10 months. So that $6,000 could be going toward buying a house, in just 10 months, like I said. So, it doesn't take long, like I said. So it's just, it's just one of those things where I didn't realize in the past, but I know now what I can do and what is possible. So now I'm definitely working toward it. So that is, in a nutshell, the reason why I decided to live in my van. So, of course, as always, if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And again, thanks for watching, and have a great day.